All right, all right, all right. Should be live. Hopefully you all can see me and hear me now. Let me know if you can't, and we'll go from there. So, it's been a long time. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I've been doing well. Been insanely busy, hence the reason I haven't been here streaming with y'all. But yeah, things are calming down now a little bit, and so it should be a little bit better. So yeah, basically, I'll tell you what happened in my life the last few months, and why I've been almost completely absent here is two things. One, we had this really long, nice fall, and which was amazing. And the problem with fall up here is, and all summer, is people have projects that they want me to do because I'm a contractor. It's one of my businesses. But then they start to put them off in the summer because they're out fishing and camping and hiking and doing whatever things out here. And then what happens is, as fall gets closer, all of a sudden everybody realizes that winter's fast coming, and the temperature is going to drop, and it's going to get colder and snowier and harder to do things. And so then everybody wants to get their projects done all at once, especially the outside projects, myself included, because I don't want to work outside in the cold as much as I don't have to. And so I get a whole big backlog of projects that gets built up. And there were some other things that happened. I don't know if I'm going to go into too much detail, but let's just say I was very involved in the elections up here in my area specifically, and so that was taking a lot of my time. Anyway, but that's all done now, and at least for the moment. And so here I am back with you, which is nice because I've missed hanging out a little bit, and it's been a while. So everybody hear me good? You can see me good? Hopefully, looks like you can, and all that. So yay! I'm gonna assume it's all good. To start off with, this, somebody was asking about what storage case I use. So I've got some videos that I'm working on now that I'm going to release as soon as I possibly can. And yeah, I know, no scruff. It's barely there. It's a little bit, but it's coming. One is going to be my storage setup and everything that I keep in my Vader case, because I basically keep enough stuff to repair everything and anything possibly that could go wrong with my kit and with other people's kit. And so I'm going to show you my setup for storage and my the stuff that I keep in my storage case with me, just in case something goes wrong. And then I'm working on a video. It feels like I've been working on it for forever, but I really am trying to get it done now, and especially because I have a saber on my bench. I'm working on a how-to video, a real basic how-to video about how to build a Neoppixel lightsaber. Lots of people ask me about it. Lots of people want to do it. If you have a decent ability to solder yourself and a decent to rudimentary understanding of electronics, it's something you could definitely do. It's not that hard. It just takes some time and some decent soldering skills. So I'm working on a video about how to make your own Neoppixel lightsaber, and it'll be work for pretty much any lightsaber out there. So there's that coming up, and then there were some other ones too that I don't remember what any of them are off the top of my head. Voice, maybe I might do another like update to voice system and how to convert a powered speaker to use with my transducer setup, because I've had a few questions about that, and some other ones like that. So, and this is kind of fun here. My little blade plug that I put in my lightsaber. I'll pull it apart real quick if I can. And I finally got around. I was just messing around, but I put 6 Neoppixels. Probably won't focus on there, but 6 Neoppixels in there, so that now when I have this blade plug in my lightsaber, if I want to turn it on, it will glow red in the edge there. So anyway, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Neoppixels are a lot of fun to play with, and what they can do is really, really incredible. I have the newest version of a board maker out there, the Prism 5.5, which adds a whole set of unstable effects to the blade, which will be great for Kylo. and also adds a fire blade, which is pretty cool, and a blade like it looks like it's in the rain, like it gets little spots on it, and then they cool back down to the color. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so there's that. And then one of the things that I have messed around with a little bit, and I haven't messed around with as much as I wanted to because I wasn't able to do a lot of events, but I'm been messing with it, and I'm going to keep messing with it, is this little guy right here. Let's see if I can, if you can focus on it. It's called the MiCom setup, and it's I think it's a little Arduino board in here. You can look up MiCom. It's MiCom on Facebook if you want to, and then has eight finger triggers. And so, because a lot of people ask me what my voice setup is, and I use what's called the ROM FX Revo. You can look and see it in a lot of my past videos, and it's a voice changer in real time, and it also has a breathing loop built in. Before that, I used a different type of voice changer and an iPod for the breathing loop. And well, I had a whole different system before. I had like speakers all over me and wires running everywhere, and it was hard to keep them hidden. But this little thing here, if you look up Facebook, you can look up MiCom and see it. This is pre-recorded phrases that you can use, which is actually kind of cool. And I'm really looking forward to this with my Wookiee costume, because you can load essentially any waiver MP3 files on there. But I was going to show you, this is set up for Vader right now. There's also a setup for Kylo, and then we're working on a setup for Wookiee, which is fun. Anyway, you put it on under the costume. That's the only part I haven't really figured out yet, is how to suit up with this thing exactly. But it's really, it sounds great with the transducers. So this is a little powered speaker that would help if I pointed it toward the microphone. Oh, I gotta turn this. I also have to power the thing. So what I've done, I used an iPod for the breathing loop, and then an iPod for the breathing loop, and then I use this to trigger phrases with my transducers with a powered speaker. That's the other video I've got coming, is how to convert a powered speaker into something you can use that will drive or make transducers work. Because my ROM FX Revo has an amp built in, but if you don't have an amp built in, like something like this, you got to have something that's going to drive the speakers, or the zoom pedal option, or vortex, any of that. You have to have something to drive it. So I'm going to show you how to convert an Aker, A-K-E-R, into a usable amplified system to use with transducers, something like this, or otherwise. And the reason I like Akers is they have two inputs, and so you can mix like the zoom pedal, which a lot of people are using for a voice changer. It works really, really well. Or you can use that with an iPod, or you can mix and match your inputs. If you use, there's an amp that I used in one of my videos showing you how to do it. The problem with that amp is it has two inputs, but the two inputs have to be the same impedance. Long story short, it doesn't work with an iPod and a zoom pedal at the same time. So anyway, but here we go. So these are recorded lines by a gentleman down in Florida. He did an amazing job, and I think these are put together by a guy who's on the channel every once in a while called Meg2 Sith. If you look him up on YouTube, he does some really cool saber work and stuff like that. But anyway,
take your place.
So let's see if that's turned up.
Stand here by my side.
So essentially you've got eight different triggers, which my hands are kind of funny and it's hard to get to all of them. But you have like all of your positive, like come here, stand here, yes, sort of things.
Come closer.
To get people to come.
No.
Negative phrases.
That kind of question will arouse suspicion. Take care what you ask and to whom. My patience wears thin. Do not test it further. You would do well to join us in our destruction of the Rebel Alliance. You have shown bravery by coming here. Let us hope you show loyalty to match. Your allegiance is acknowledged. Rise and go forward to give service to the Empire. I have been expecting you. As you wish. Do not underestimate our reach. If you betray us, we will find you. Impressive. Most impressive.
So anyway, it's really cool. So the hardest part is you have, because there's like each one of these buttons has 3 to 4 phrases mapped to it. And so they're not random, they run in sequential order, but being able to be familiar, my problem with using this so far has been I'm not familiar enough with which buttons do what, and to be able to act the best with them. You know, as far as like acting like I'm actually saying the lines. Now that's not hard because you don't have a mouth to move and stuff, but anyway, it's really great because you don't have to say anything. You don't have to have a microphone or anything like that. You can just kind of relax and hit buttons once you know which buttons do what. So anyway, so somebody asked if it could be set up, Fantastic Raids asked if it could be set up with a Commander Fox setup. My understanding is, because with talking to these guys about doing a setup for Chewie when I get Chewie done, or a Wookiee, that they can plug anything into it. So you can contact them. Fantastic Raids, they're on the SLD too. You can contact them and talk to them about setting something up custom for you, and they're really cool. And I think you can even do it over, computer and stuff like that. So I'm super, because I do Vader with a voice changer, it's nice, especially on days where I'm tired or I don't really want to talk a lot. It's really great. But I'm super excited about something like this for a Chewbacca Wookiee costume or a Jawa costume or anything like that, because you have control over like your positive, your negative, your funny or your mad sort of sounds. You've got control over it with which buttons you push, and so you can control all your stuff, and it sounds great. It really sounds good. So yeah, super excited about this for Chewbacca, and I'm going to continue to try and work on it with Vader. The one thing I ran into, and it's because the gloves I have are so custom fit to my hands, it was easy to false trigger stuff, and that's a little awkward sometimes. but to the transducers with what was I using? I think I was using an Acre 2300 or 2800. It worked great. It worked great. Super clear, super crisp. So I used this. And then I used my iPod with the breathing loop to have the breathing going constantly, because that's the way it is in the movies. And it worked really, really well. So for a great little voice setup for various costumes, especially Kylo and Vader, this thing is great. And you can look them up. And they're not paying me to say this or anything like that, but you can look up MiCom, MiCom, on Facebook, and or if you're on the SLD, they're on the SLD too. So, but I really like playing with this thing, and I'm gonna keep playing with it more to try and use it well. So yes, so for those of you that wonder, because I do get this question a lot, the ROM FX Revo is no longer being made, so your only chance of finding one is finding one used. The other one that's out there is the Vortex 3, which is about the same price as the ROM FX Revo was. It does a good job. It's very small. I don't think it's much larger than this guy here, this little thing. It's really small from what I hear. I haven't held one in my own hand, but it's pretty tiny and works really, really well. I started with a Vortex 1 or a Vortex 2, I think, and it was great. So yeah, these things, Aaron, yeah, I think that's what I was thinking. The Vortex 3 was on the $450, $500 mark, which is about what the ROM FX Revo was too. And yeah, so if you're looking for this thing, the trigger that I was showing you, it's called MiCom. Anyway, that's it. You can look it up on Facebook or on the Sith Lord Detachment forums. They're on there making them too. And yeah, I want to do a full like review video where I show you like how I set it up with my transducers, and maybe even if we have the right event coming up, do some like on the spot, how it works in real life kind of stuff would be fun. But I just haven't had the chance to do that lately because I haven't been trooping a lot. And then the next 2 troops that we have scheduled right now are hospital visits, and we almost never video hospital visits due to patient privacy. So, hey, Miami Vader. So, and yeah, Darth at last. You asked if you could. Oh yeah. The Vortex 3 is tiny, and so like what I do with this, or what you could do with the Vortex 3 is put it inside of a little plastic project box. Or each, I mean, you could even just cut holes in like a soap container for travel soap, and then use Velcro. I use Velcro for everything, to attach everything to my belt, which is great. Yeah. Brian, yes, show your ears. There's a thing that Disney's doing, which is encouraging people to show their mouse ears, and doing various things. So we're going to be doing that. Cool, Miami Vader. I'm glad you got one. I hope you enjoy it. I've enjoyed it so far. I've only really used it once, other than messing around with it here. And the big hurdle for me has been learning which buttons do what, which buttons do which phrases, and then kind of getting an idea of which phrase is coming up on which button. There's a lot. There's so much on there, but yeah, it's not bad. So yeah. So Aaron C, you say the amp on the Vortex, with the Vortex 3, you stick in the middle of the chest armor with the volume control facing down. So I did something like that, similar to that. I had 2 speakers on my belt, which were the main volume, and then one under my chest box, and it worked fairly well. The thing that drove me crazy was the 2 speakers on the belt were always being seen, even though they're black, they were always showing up in pictures, and I hated that. And then it was a lot of extra weight, and so every time I was walking around or anything, I was just conscious of all this extra stuff on my belt, and there was a lot of extra wires involved, because I'd run one up over my shoulder down to the chest box, and the ones in the back and all that. And so I just I'm a huge fan of simplifying and making something as foolproof as possible, because tons of people are like rubbing shoulders with you or giving you hugs or just all kinds of stuff, and so the less points of failure, the better for a costume, in my opinion. So that's what I'm doing. Let's see. George Ashley, yeah, the kids. It's crazy how much kids light up when they see Darth Vader. It's like kids love Darth Vader. It's funny how much they do. They're more scared of Jawas than they are of Darth Vader. So Arturo says, you want to replace the dome of your Vader helmet? Should you go with stone for a raw ESB cast? I had to deal with a bunch of stuff with dealing with stone, particularly. I would look elsewhere if I were you. Just he's been having problems. So, and this is the deal, guys, with the prop making business, or anybody that makes props or lightsabers, anything like that for costumes. You need to do your research and read up on what they've done in the past, and if everybody's happy, then you probably will have no issues. If there are a lot of upset people, then you need to rethink it. If there's kind of some upset people, but lots of people are happy, then it's probably a good deal. And that's been part of the problem. So just be careful there. And then with any prop maker, if they're like, always pay with PayPal, and always do for goods and services, and then don't let your PayPal refund window close, which is 180 days. So don't let 6 months go by and then you won't be able to get your money back. Be very careful with that. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Aaron C, Bookface helmet. Bookface helmets are great, especially the Quasis are fantastic. And then Darth at Last says JMC also seems to have gone dormant. He has, for now. I know what's going on with him. He's got a lot on his plate, and so he hasn't been able to spend much time doing Vader stuff. But I know as soon as he gets the stuff off his plate, it's sort of like me, I had a lot of stuff going on, but as soon as he gets all that stuff squared away, he's looking forward to coming back and doing more Darth Vader stuff, making more casts and lids and stuff like that, and he does fabulous work. I love his work. So Miami Vader asks about Porty helmets. So Porty helmets are decent helmets. They're a little on they're on the heavy side. They're like the Anovas. They're like 6-7 pounds, which is heavy. It doesn't sound that heavy, but then when you put it on your head and everything else is on you, it's heavy, and it gets heavy after a while. I know for him, at least lately, he was using a Stone version 1 dome, which was good. And so, that's another option, though, if you're really in a pinch, is getting a Porty helmet. I will say Porty does great. Portimac Prop Studios on Facebook, he does great paint work, and he consistently delivers on time. So he may not be the most accurate person out there, but he does good work, and he delivers as promised. So Darth at Last JMC. I know. I'm looking forward to when he comes back. There is a guy on the Sith Lord detachment that is selling casts. I can't remember who the casts are by. GH stuff. Anyway, so you can look up that too and see if he's interested in selling, because the GH stuff is good, and he's selling casts of that. And from what I've seen, it's pretty good. I have no idea what his paint is like, but anyway. So George asked me what I think of the Black Series Vader. So the Black Series Vader is a nice toy. And I know people get mad when I say this, but it's a toy. It's not very accurate, both in size and in shape, and a few other ways. It's not. But it's a nice looking toy. I think they did a good job with it in that regard. Especially the inside is pretty cool. So as a display piece, sure, why not? I wouldn't wear it trooping or anything like that, if that's what you're asking. So, hey, James, yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a long, 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 long time, and I'm glad to be back. So, RS Props, yeah, I think so too, Aaron. I think RS Props is another one that's looking to do Vader helmets. And then there was another guy, but I think he was only doing A&H, and I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. So, Miami Vader, Darth Jowl, good. He does great work. Is modding your saber. And so, are you doing the Neoppixel saber, or are you doing just a regular Tri-Cree setup? I'm very curious, because after working with Neoppixels for a while, they're more expensive, but man, are they fun. They are so much fun. In fact, my saber's kind of apart right now. I've been modifying it, testing out some new things. So, good. I'm glad you're doing Neoppixel. The thing with Neoppixels is, and you can see videos on my channel about Neoppixels, but they're not that much brighter on a single color than, say, a Tri-Cree or an Inhilt, but they're totally even all the way down the length of the blade, which is a big difference. And then they scroll in and out, which is really cool, the scrolling effect. And then when it comes to like flash on clash or blaster block effects, which I rarely ever use in real life, but the flash on clash is insanely bright compared to the other ones. So yeah, Neoppixels are awesome. Aaron C, you got a Vader's Vault Neoppixel, very nice. Yeah, the Neoppixels are so much fun to play with. They're so much fun. So, support guy asks if I have kids crying often when I see me in the suit. On Halloween, you had two kids scared of the suit, and it always breaks your heart. It's never the intention to scare them. Yeah, and that's honestly, it's way beyond your control. You don't know, and so you can tell pretty early on if a kid's going to be terrified of you or if they're just really excited to meet you, and by watching how they're kind of looking at you when they're coming toward you. And so I use that as a good gauge on whether or not to how much to interact with them. Now, I've had lots of kids that have been fine with coming up next to me, and then as soon as I said something with the voice changer, they freaked out. It was just that much to push them over the edge. A lot of other kids have been scared at first, but as soon as I've seen if they give me a high five or a fist bump or something like that, then they've loosened up and been way more happy and excited. So I run into kids that are scared, absolutely. By and large, most kids are just super, super, super happy to meet Darth Vader, and I've had a lot of them that want to give me a hug, which is awkward because they're like wrapping themselves around my knee. And I'll pat them on the back or something like that, but they're pretty excited to meet Darth Vader. So, yeah, Aaron sees a couple at the Buddy Down syndrome walk that were terrified. You just back off. Yeah, that's right. And that's what I try and do, especially with any special needs people or special needs kids and kids in general. I kind of let them set the rules of our interaction, so to speak. If they want to come over and give me a high five, or they want to come give me a hug, or they want to come stand right next to me, I'm totally fine with that. I know they're okay. If they seem a little skittish and they're a little worried about coming close, then I'll usually not say anything, and I'll just stand there quietly, breathing, but just stand there. And if they're really standoffish, I might try and see if I can get them to loosen up a little bit. A lot of times, what's great is like JW Pitbull, who's on here, or Brian, who's on here, will help to break the ice. And because they're not in a full costume with a mask, they're in a full costume, but they don't have a mask on. They have regular faces. A lot of times, they'll get to break the ice with the kids and kind of show them that I'm not terrifying and scary. But yeah, anyway. So that is, and it's something you learn as you go. It was interesting because Brian posted a picture of our first time doing something in costumes together before I was a 501st Legion member, but it was the first time I put on my Vader costume at Halloween a couple years ago, or 3 years ago now, or something like 4 years ago maybe. And I look at that now and I go, dear Lord, I had no idea what I was doing. And it was all I could do to just basically put the costume on and then stand there. Walk around was tough. Now I'm much more comfortable in the costume. And so, you just kind of get a feel for it, and it feels more natural and more normal. And so, yeah, it's much, 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 much more different now. So, yeah. Aaron, you were at the Buddy Walk. Nice. You might have met Brian, or Brian at least probably saw you. And so anyway, let's see. I know somebody else asked me one. You got your 1-inch lifts. Nice. Yep. Get taller. Miami Vader. That's the one I was looking for. How do they determine what level you are when sending approval pics? So that's a great question. As far as the Legion is concerned, when you send in approval pics, you get cleared. Basic level of clearance. Any levels of clearance beyond that, advanced standards, premium, super, ultra, amazing sort of thing, is determined by the detachment that costume belongs to. So in the Sith Lord detachment, we have three different levels. Well, there's the basic approval level, which is done when you send in your approval pics and get your TK ID and all that. Now, if you want to get approved beyond that, they have advanced standards in I think almost every detachment has them, where you can get approved to like level 2 or level 3. We have Dark Lord status and Emperor status, I think. And that's done by the detachment. Right now, the Sith Lord detachment advanced standards are only open to a certain number of costumes, because I've been working on getting the CRLs, the costume reference libraries, adjusted and tweaked and up to standards now, as opposed to when the original ones were written. And then we'll continue to release more costumes back, or open up advanced standards for more costumes as we go. So that's it. As far as when you send in your approval pics, your GML only determines if you're eligible to be cleared for basic approval and start trooping and get a TK ID. So that. Fantastic rates. You have an awesome Chewie where you are. Awesome. I can't wait. And I have done nothing to complete that costume except for what you've seen on this live stream. And anyway, I need to actually get going. Aaron C says, watch your belt buttons here at the fair, and pulled a couple off. Yeah, so mine are bolted through, and my chest box is a CNC chest box, and that's specifically why I did that, because kids like to touch. And I try and keep them from touching stuff, but at least if it's all bolted on and CNC material, not resin or something, it's the chance of things breaking is much, much, much less. So Aaron asked if I weathered my belt boxes. So belt boxes are going to get weathered, regardless of what you want. I went from Return of the Jedi Vader to ESB Vader, and I haven't weathered my boxes or my buckle specifically for ESB yet. I need to. I just haven't done it yet. But my bell boxes already have some weathering on there just from wear and tear being put on and taken off and moved around and all of that. So, yeah. Captain Bob asks, any advice on dealing with people trying to grab things off you in costume, like your saber, when you went to Comic-Con? Oh, your handler walked off. Dang, that's, yeah, my first thing was make sure you have somebody who's with you all of the time. And then secondly, keep yourself where you can kind of see everybody coming at you. So near walls is helpful, so you can't be, hit from 360 degrees. But a handler, especially at big conventions and stuff like that, a handler is a must because your field of view is really, really terrible. Yeah, so keep an eye on that. We did one event that was the most terrifying event I think I've ever done, where it was me, a stormtrooper. I think that was it. And the event people were supposed to have provided handlers and support crew, so to speak, for us. They did not, or the person that was going to do it disappeared immediately. And so I was keeping an eye on my stormtrooper in costume. I was in costume, trying to keep the kids from trying to steal his detonator, which is the round thing on the backs of troopers, and his blaster. And while, at least I was covered with a cape, but I was also having to keep kids from like trying to lift up my cape and get under it. And weird stuff. So we ended up backing up all the way to a fence in the yard, and then planting ourselves against this fence for the rest of the time period. And it was not fun. So anyway, yeah. JW Pitbull had a new hip put in. She's turning into more machine than person. So, yeah. My Vader life system. So I assume you looked at the Anovus, because they're the ones that call them the Vader life system. Mine is put together custom. My chest box is it's 16 of, I think, 35 that a gentleman did who lives back in the Midwest, and they're all CNC'd. And my belt boxes are by a guy in Italy who they're all also all metal and put together that way. And so that's the way I put mine together. Now, if you're looking for a CNC chest box, look up Portamax Studios on Facebook. He makes CNC chest boxes. They're not quite as accurate, but they're good, and they're CNC, so they're built like tanks. I think he makes belt boxes too. And then there's other people who make belt boxes as well. So yeah, but they're going to be expensive. A CNC chest box is probably going to run you around $500, and the belt boxes will run you a couple $100 too. So just keep in mind that way. Bad events, large crowds with alcohol, drunks can be a real pain and get way too excited. Yeah, especially drunks. If there's alcohol involved, we're very, very, very careful about that. Hey, Tom, Meg Tooth Sith Sabers. Tom, you missed it, but I was showing everybody the MiCom setup that I'm pretty sure you helped to program this and put this together. Anyway, I've been trying to play with it more and more, so I get more comfortable with it and can actually take it out on an event. I did have it on one event, which was the fair, and it was awesome because it's so much clearer. It was just that I didn't know what buttons were what. So my interaction with people was interesting. We'll just say that. But anyway, it's a great setup, and yeah. So hopefully, I'm really, really looking forward to the Chewy sound files when we get those in there. But yeah, I was also bragging on your saber building skills, because considering from how you and I first met and about building a saber and where you are now, dear Lord. But you'll be happy to know I did order, and I have a Profi board on the way that I'm going to be messing with, and I'm looking forward to that. I've been reading a lot of your threads on some of the forums about programming, so yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be lots of fun. So let's see. Captain Bob, yeah. If your handler walks off, I'm done personally, and that's kind of where we've been. We did one event here at Barnes and Noble for Star Wars Reads Day, and Jen and Brian had to leave, and it was about 30 seconds after they left that I told the rest of the crew we were done, and we packed our stuff up and left because a group of kids just started getting way out of control. So, Sapody? Sapody? I probably butchering your name, but good to see you again from the Nordic Garrison. Fantastic. Swedish, awesome. How's the winter started where you are? Ours finally just started a week ago. Up until that, it was like between 5 and 8 C every day, and then it's finally now, minus a few C, like -4, -5 C, which is nice. And we got a little bit of snow, which is great. Spy Hunter, you got the shoulder armor, shin guards, nice. Lead for a printer, so the helmet will be done in a while. Nice, excellent. Megtooth, Chewie, and Grievous. Ooh, Grievous, that'd be a great one. Yeah, I will, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're off on the deep end with sabers. Yes, you are. You have gone so far. And to look at the sabers you're building now, I was watching a bunch of your YouTube videos the other day. I was like, man, the stuff you're pulling out is so cool and it looks so good. So my hope is that I can install the Profi board, I got the new version of the Kylo hilt from Corbanth, and so I'm going to put it in there and make it awesome as I can. So hopefully it'll be fun. Yeah, the smooth swing sound in those things is, man, it's incredible. So yeah, Chewie and Grievous. I know Chewie I'm super excited about. I've been telling people they work great for Jawas too. And then somebody was asking me about a commander something that I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, it's cool. The Profi boards for sabers is so they're so customizable and so you can do so much with them. It's crazy. It's really excited. The thing that I keep coming up with is like I have the Prism 5.5 now in my saber, which has the effects, and they're really cool. So it's awesome. They will work great for a Kylo hilt. But I realize, like in Vader, when I'm in character, I'm only ever really using one font. And it's just the standard normal lightsaber font. That's what I use, and that's what I use 90% of the time because I don't go out and duel or anything like that. Now, it's still super awesome and super cool. But yeah, I'm really excited to see some of the unstable blade effects that are coming into Sabers mainstream with Neoppixels now, because it just the realism that the unstable effects add are so cool for blades or sabers like Kylo and stuff like that. DV6. Oh, nice. I like the I've installed one DV6. It was with the Tri-Cree. But yeah, I like the hilt. It's a really cool hilt. So the Spy Hunter, you got your saber converted and the light blinded you. Yeah, you got to be careful. Very careful. Tom, you'll appreciate this. This is my blade plug here. And I was messing around yesterday because I did some work on my bench. Now that my life is calming down and I'm caught up on projects, and I put some Neoppixels on there, so it actually lights up in my blade plug, which is cool. Lots of fun. So yeah, it's fun. I thought about doing the classic like MPP looking style blade plug, but I had this and I have Neoppixels and I had the parts, and so I threw it together real fast because it's, why not? Lots of fun. And so I'm working on, and I think this is what my build video is going to be about, but I'm in the midst. I've taken apart Master Replica's Darth Maul saber, and I'm converting it to be dual Neoppixel for somebody, for a friend of mine, and so that'll be fun. And when it's done, I'll show it off before I send it off, assuming it all works right. Like the first time. You won't see the parts where it doesn't work, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Day blades versus heavy grade blades. So day blades cut down on the light output from the saber quite a bit. Enhanced color blades are much better for showing the light. And then heavy grade blades, same thing. They cut down on the light quite a bit because they're so thick. So I don't do a lot of dueling. I do light dueling with kids once in a while, which is not that big a deal. But I have hit, like this one kid I was dueling with, he was going after it, man, and my blade was bending like that, and his blade was bending like that, and my Neoppixels did just fine. I was starting to get worried about it, though, because he was really going after it. He wasn't trying to hit me. As soon as they go after me, then I'm done. but he was real happy to clash sabers, and it was, yeah, lots of fun. So, but that's all with a thin-walled blade, a 1-inch thin-walled blade. That's pretty much all I've ever used. I have a day blade for parades and stuff in the sun, and nothing's going to compete with the sunlight, but I don't use it other than that. So, yeah, Megtooth, I'm looking forward to the Darth Maul. Should be fun. It's going to have two cards in it. Everything basically a exact dual setup, so they can use it, one side without the other. And then it's Neoppixels, and I think I'm also going to do one of the short blades, so they can look like they're, putting it through somebody. A short blade with I want to do a short blade with some clear epoxy poured out, so it looks like it's melting the stuff around it. I think it would look really cool in pictures at the end of the short blade. Maybe, I don't know. It might not. So, you don't use a blade during daylight troops. Yeah, I typically don't use a blade during daylight troops either. I just don't. So, feedback on Ultra Sabers, the Chosen One CE Diamond. So Ultra Sabers, they have good hilts. They're solidly machined. They are not very accurate. I think that's partly intentional because they don't want to get sued by Disney or shut down by Disney. But from what I've seen, their electronics installs are not always the best. That's just me. But I know lots of people use them. Lots of people use them for dueling sabers, and they work out just fine. So, but as an accuracy point, they're not very accurate. So if you want something that's accurate, you need to look at something else. Anyway, yeah. Oh, cool. I'll have to look that up, Tom. That sounds pretty cool. Electrum Sabers. Remnant, pretty nice. App connection is great. I have not heard of Electrum Sabers, so I'm not familiar with them. But I am working on, and Tom, I'm curious if you've tried this too with the Bluetooth module with any of your sabers, because I'm wanting to try that with mine here. I think I just ordered the Bluetooth module. I got to put it in as soon as it gets here. But yeah. Aaron C. Yeah, Ultra Sabers are oversized as well. And that's, like, their hilts are solid. They're just incredibly solidly machined aluminum, but they're giant. In fact, our Kylo up here, Sarah has one of their crossguard hilts, and it's like a claymore sword. It's giant. It's so big. And she's not big to be, she's not, a tall, giant person to begin with, but on her hands, it looks so huge. So, yeah, anyway. George asks if you have a Master Replicas Vader, can you convert it to Neoppixel? Yeah, that's what mine is. Mine started out as a 2005 Master Replicas ESB Vader Saber, and it has been converted a lot of times now. It was converted to a single LED, then to a tri-cree LED, then to a quad LED, and then to a couple different quad LEDs, and then back to a tri-cree LED, and then to Neoppixels with my version 1 connection, and then to Neoppixels with version 2 connection, and then to Neoppixels with the custom Saber Shop connection, and that's where it is now. It's on its second or third different card, because, anyway, yeah. So, my saber is my experimental saber that I mess with all of the time. So, yeah. Anyway. Sarah is huge. She's swollen feisty on the inside. That's true. She is quite feisty, and she's awesome. We love having her be part of our group up here. Nice. Oh, the Santa cape. Cool. I am on the hunt because I promised myself I'm going to do this for 3 years, and I haven't done it yet. I'm going to get 2 Santa hats sewn together for my Vader, especially for when we do the hospital troop in December. So yeah, I haven't done the Santa cape for Vader yet. Probably not going to do it this year, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to do the hat. I'm going to do that. So an ESB T-Thrope or ESB accurate hilt for Vader Saber. Yeah, Tom, Megtooth Sith Sabers is dead on. The MPP hilt kits from the custom Saber Shop or from Corbanth are great hilts, and they can be put together and left empty if you just want something to hang on your belt, or you can have Neoppixels or tri-cree, tri-LED style in-hilt installs done in them. They're really, really nice, and they look great. Yeah, Megtooth is also right. You do have to do a little bit of work to make them accurate, putting the wires in the emitter side and changing the way the clamp works in the center, and so a couple other things, but they're great hilts. So I have one. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I have one. I have a lot of hilts sitting upstairs I haven't done anything with lately. So, but I'm going to start putting them together, and then I'll probably start selling some of them off anyway. But that might be a while. So, yeah, I know Kelly Joe started making them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So Miami Vader asks, what do I think of the CP Premium Wool Cape? It's a nice cape. It's a very nice cape. Order it a little bit long, like 3 or 4 inches longer than what you need, and have it hemmed locally. And it's our CP is more of a Return of the Jedi style in the neck opening area. It's bigger than the ESB style. So for Return of the Jedi, it's great. For ESB, it'll take a certain amount of work to get it right so that the collar's hidden under the neck. Yeah, Kelly Jo Boyd does Santa capes, and Kelly Jo actually does really, really good heavy wool Vader capes now too. She spent a lot of time finding the right fabric, and then she and me and a couple other people went back and forth on some of the patterns, and especially the patterns for the robe and the pleats, darts, folds, whatever you want to call them, and she's putting out some great stuff now. So, yeah. Captain Bob, any more videos of troops coming up? So the only 2 troops we have scheduled right now that we might get a video of some is this Thursday is a hospital troop. Generally, we don't get video in hospitals because it is, private area. And then one in December is a hospital troop as well. So, but there might be some other things happening around one of those that we might be able to do a little video of, and I would like to do that. I do have videos coming up, my storage setup, the voice setup. I'm going to do a little more detailed talk about this, and then I'm doing a video about how to put together a basic Neoppixel lightsaber using cards that are available at the Custom Saber Shop or other places. It's not that hard if you've got some good, decent, but basic soldering skills and a rudimentary understanding of electronics. You can put one together pretty easily. So that's where I'm headed with those as far as videos that are coming up. No promises on when any of those will be released, but they're coming. Yeah, Aaron C, that's it. That's right. For ESB, you got to really get it closed in there. For Return of the Jedi, it works pretty well. Mactooth. Yeah, you got quite a few that you got to work on there. Jeez, that's a lot. Aaron C asks if Alaska troops events slow down during the November, December. So yes and no. This year they have slowed down a fair amount. We've got a group at Fairbanks that's got a big convention going on right now, which is part of our garrison, and they're up there doing that. For us here in Anchorage and then south of us in Juneau, there hasn't been a lot going on. The last year and the year before we had quite a bit because we partnered with the Marines for Toys for Tots, and we did a few different appearances with them. Toys R Us, when they went out of business, I'm not really sure what the Marines are doing right now. I know they've got stuff out there for collections, but it doesn't seem like they're doing as many events as they did when like Toys R Us was around and stuff like that. So, and then we also did things like Christmas Village and a few other events like that, which were more big community events. We just haven't heard anything from any of those people. So Alaska's been in kind of a funny place because it's been interesting the last few months. Anyway, so it varies. But yeah, Brian knows it varies from year to year. My guess is that for December we'll get 3 or 4 requests here in the next few weeks, kind of last minute, asking if we can join for this or that or the other thing. And anyway, that's the way it goes. So. For those of you that are wondering, Brian is the amazing event coordinator for the Alaska Garrison. Does an incredible job. So, let's see. Is there I'm not even going to try and say your name, but is there a community website for Darth Vader builds like Boba Fett the Dented Helmet? Yes, there is. There's the Sith Lord Attachment forums, if you want to build a costume, so let me be specific about this. If you want to build a costume that will pass 501st standards, then you should join the Sith Lord Detachment forums at www.501stsithlords.com. If you're more just interested in information or building a really prop accurate Darth Vader costume, then there's a movie accurate Vader costume group on Facebook that lots of good info there. Yeah, so those are the two sites primarily. Now there's also like the Prop Den has tons of great info on it. I think some of it seems to be a little bit more out of date now, but there's that, and then there's the RPF is another one that has lots of information about it. But those are more prop focused, so they're not so much like for costume builds. They're like to find the exact parts from the original and put it together on a statue type thing. Let's see. Yes. Does the 501st have a leader of some kind, like a CEO? Yes. There's a commanding officer of the 501st. So the 501st is set up very much like a paramilitary organization. There's a commanding officer and his command staff, and then there's regional groups, garrisons, like we have up here, and there's a command staff in there, so there's a chain of command for that. And then sort of separate to all of those are detachments, and detachments are the folks that cover specific costumes and help people develop their costumes before they are 501st members, and continue to develop them after. So yeah. Anyway, let's see. Seattle area troops recently died off a bit. Last year was way busier. Yeah, it's interesting to see kind of, I don't know if there's like a lull because of the way the movies have been spaced out. Like the last few years, the movies have been spaced closer to now. And it seems like that really pushed a lot of events that way. But now they released Solo back in May, and then there's a big space until Episode 9 comes out. That'll be interesting to see how that works out and where it goes. So, Carolina Garrison, first through the door, last on the floor. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. Yeah. So, are there characters that are not allowed? There are. There are a lot of characters that are allowed, but when you start getting into custom characters, like you make up your own Sith Lord, that's not in the 501st. The 501st Legion is focused specifically on characters that are from the movies, the extended universe in books and comics, and all of those sorts of things. So if you're going to do like some character that you make up, that is not in the 501st. Or the Rebel Legion. Those are also kind of that way. So, let's see. I haven't seen the Cassian Andor streaming show, so I have no idea about that. Blaster for Shock Trooper, I have no idea. You probably want to check on White Armor for that one. I'm not real familiar with those, so I won't say. Obi-Wan is totally allowed in the Rebel Legion. Meg2 asked me, so now some time has passed. How do you feel about The Last Jedi? Looking forward to Episode 9. Did I see Solo yet? So I feel the way I felt about The Last Jedi, pretty much the same. I like it. I think it's a great movie. My kids like it. And, you know, it still doesn't grab me like the original trilogy did, but I think that's more of a nostalgia thing for me than it is anything else. And I did finally see Solo when it came out on DVD. We watched it. I don't know. Solo, I didn't hate it. I don't know why people hated it so much. I thought it was a fun movie. It was entertaining. It had a good storyline. Yeah, that's I guess where I'll leave it. It didn't like Rogue One. Of course, I'm biased because the last 5 minutes of Rogue One are awesome, but I liked Rogue One more than Solo, as far as the spin-off movies are. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I kind of fell out on that. I didn't hate Solo. I liked it overall. I thought it was fine. but and what I don't want to see happen, and I hope they don't do, is just do movies every single year because they want to or have to, and because they're going to make money at it. I would rather see them space them out, and because part of what made Star Wars, in my opinion, part of what made Star Wars so special was you had these 3 movies that came out, and then you had a 30-year break, and then 3 more movies that came out that it seems like most people hated. I didn't like love them like I liked the originals, but they weren't horrible movies. They could have used a little less CGI. And then you had another big space of time where then we're getting 3 more movies. So that scarcity makes things more valuable in a sense, and I think that that's part of it. And so if they just continuously pump out Star Wars movies into eternity, the nostalgia, the mystique, the desire for it is going to go down a little bit, and so we'll see. We'll see. Good night, Aaron. Thanks for joining us. I have no idea what Support Guy's talking about. That's okay. I feel like you're the only one who didn't like Rogue One. Found it hard to get in the movie just because you didn't like Jen. Oh, yeah. You knew they had to die. Yeah. So I mostly liked Rogue One. I like the fact that they got back to the old aesthetic, kind of the gritty Star Wars, which I really like. And then, of course, I loved the last 5 minutes because it was awesome. I really didn't like the Vader costume that much, but I liked the last 5 minutes. So anyway, let's see. All the rebel scum dying in Rogue One made it great. Not to mention, yeah, exactly. Oh, nice, Brian. That's fantastic. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up the stream here pretty soon. So, yeah, we're going to be, hey, Seventh Sister from Arizona. Nice. Welcome. Did Nathan's saber get to me okay? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So tell me what you mean, because I'm not positive. Anyway, yeah, I figured as much, Support Guy. I figured you were replying to somebody else, a conversation I wasn't privy to because it was going by too quickly. Anyway, so fantastic grades. Oh yeah, actually that part of Rogue One was phenomenal. The space battle that they did was just, God, it was great. It was so good. Oh yes, Karina. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't put that together. Yes, it did, and it's very nice, and I'm looking forward to doing an install on it. And I've got the Profi board for it coming, so that I can do a really good, unstable looking blade and blade effects. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I got a few other things I got to get for it to make it more accurate, but it's coming. So. Thanks, Denali. Bye, Darth at last. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will keep you updated, and likely as it goes, it will appear on this channel for sure. And so actually I could have brought it down today, but I might save it for the next stream I do to show it off because it's pretty sweet. But yeah, and I'll do a general review of the hilt anyway. So it's a nice hilt, and the paint job Nathan did is great. I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, it was great hanging out with everybody. If you're watching this on the replay, thanks for watching us on the replay. I'm glad you tuned in. This channel has been very inactive for the last few months. That will change somewhat. It'll be a little bit more active here as I go. I've got some great videos coming up about my storage system for my Vader costume, about some more details about voice systems, and then how to build a basic Neoppixel lightsaber. If you have, some basic soldering skills and some rudimentary electronics understanding, you should be good to be able to build your own Neoppixel lightsaber. Brian, should we make him stream as he builds it? Man, oh man. See you, Fantastic Raids. You picked that one out for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really, when it got here, I really like it. The hilt, the paint looks great. The hilt, I'm excited to install it. So, see you, Megtooth. Good to see you again. Good to talk to you again. And so, yeah, maybe I'll stream as I work on it a little bit here and there. Sometimes I do that. The hard part for me doing that is I've got to concentrate, or I hook up things wrong or backwards if I'm not paying close attention. And so doing a stream of me soldering isn't the most riveting thing you've ever watched. It's sort of like watching the train ride through Norway for 15 hours. It's something like that. Occasionally there's entertainment when I do something wrong and realize it. So, yeah, JW Pipple and Karina, you guys need to connect and talk about Seven Sister stuff. Anyway. Karina, I will not be at Celebration. Brian and JW Pitbull will be. And so you can talk to them. Yes, it is. It's interesting for nerds. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. I'll live stream from time to time when I'm working on it. From the garage and my newly upgraded workbench, which I could probably show off anyway. But yeah. So, and yeah, I think that's about it. So, yeah, Brian has done a great job building a cart and some really cool helmets. So you have to watch for him in the kart races for sure. Nicholas Ramirez, I'm not going to Celebration. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards for me to go. Brian and Jennifer tried hard to get me to go, but just not able to make it happen. So, but you'll be seeing more of me on this channel, and I'm going to try and stream more often. Probably try and get back to the once a week stream thing. Some will be me sitting in the garage building a lightsaber, soldering, which won't be all that entertaining, but it could be. Anyway, but we'll be doing more. And I've got a lot of stuff to show off as far as some saber hilts and a lot of other things that I'll be working on to give some pre-produced videos and then some stuff here on the live stream too. So, Nicholas, I have an open source board on its way, and I'm going to be installing it into a Kylo Ren style hilt, which I'm really excited about. If you want to see some great work with open source boards, then you can scroll up on the chat, look up Megtooth Sith Sabers. He's been doing some really, really awesome stuff with open source boards. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. And I'm still building with other, manufactured cards, but I'm starting to work on the, one of the open source boards. I'm excited to try it out. So, that's going to do it for this stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in and saying hi. It's great to talk with you all again. It's been too long, and fortunately my life has now calmed down a bit, so this will be a little bit more of a regular thing. And yeah, thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for liking and subscribing on this channel. And I will be talking to you guys again soon in another video.